For 1 hour, we finally know our ICC World Cup 2023 schedule. So, the key takeaway from this press conference and whatever happened in this event schedule launch is that no changes from the draft which he originally proposed on Sports Today earlier. So, here are the key takeaways. India will open their campaign on October 8th against Australia in Chennai. After that, the first match of the ICC World Cup 2023 will be held on October 5, and it will feature India versus New Zealand. The breakup of the matches and the breakup of the way how it is, I have live tweeted it. You can also check it out on Sports Today initially as to how we managed to do it. So, India versus Australia on October 8th. That is going to happen between Australia and India at Chennai. October 11th, you're going to see India versus Afghanistan in New Delhi. October 15th. Yes, book that date, finalize the date. It is confirmed. It is India versus Pakistan at the Narendra Modi Stadium, Ahmedabad. So that is the biggest update that we have got. Then on October 19th, you'll have India versus Bangladesh in Pune. After that, you're going to see India versus, you may say, New Zealand in Dharamshala on October 22. That's going to be a key match. But the other big match, and many of our panelists here, including Virender Sehwag and Muthaiya Muralidharan, have touted that this will be India versus England could be a potential final. I'll come to India versus England and I'll come to Muthaiya Muralidharan and Virender Sehwag a bit later. But the key takeaway is India versus England that will happen at the Ekana Stadium in Lucknow. Then India will play one qualifier and then they will take on South Africa on November 5 in Kolkata at the Eden Gardens. So they will play two qualifiers. Now, who the two qualifiers will be, that remains to be seen. Whether it will be Zimbabwe, Sri Lanka, West Indies, Zimbabwe, we all have to know what it is. So, big announcement today. Exactly 100 days to go for the World Cup. We finally have our schedule in hand. The other key takeaway is none of Pakistan's demands have been met. Pakistan wanted a change in schedule from Pakistan-Afghanistan match. They wanted to be scheduled in Bangalore instead of Chennai, and they wanted Pakistan-Australia to be scheduled from Bangalore to Chennai. But that has not happened. The ICC have stuck to their guns, and that's why Pakistan versus Afghanistan will happen in Chennai. Pakistan versus Australia will happen in Bangalore. So no changes on the schedule as far as that is concerned. The initial draft leak that happened, that is true. No changes have been done at all. Now, what did Virender Sehwag and Muthaiya Muralidharan say on the World Cup? They said a lot of things. There were a lot of anecdotes that Virender Sehwag gave on the 2011 World Cup. He said that everybody wanted to give their 100% for Sachin Tendulkar because they knew that this will be his last World Cup. The main point that he mentioned here is that everybody in that team will be wanting to do the same for Virat Kohli. So that is a possible indication that maybe the 2023 ODI World Cup could be Virat Kohli's last, if we may say, because he's not getting any younger. Next World Cup, he could be 39. Who knows whether he could play that? So every individual, everybody will be now determined to ensure that they give a big send-off to Virat Kohli. So Virender Sehwag is hoping that what the players did for Sachin Tendulkar in the 2011 World Cup, they will do the same for Virat Kohli in the 2023 ODI World Cup. And remember, India is playing in 9 venues. So they are the only team that is basically going across all the venues. What did Virender Sehwag say? Adapting to conditions is not the major challenge this time around. Adapting to conditions means that India can be prepared with good pitches. The curator might prepare good pitches. India can adapt to the conditions. But what is the next important point that he said? The next important point he mentioned in this was that pressure that will be from the outside. The media, the fans, everybody will be wanting to ensure that India wins this time. The pressure that will be there from media, from all quarters of the media, from all quarters of the fans, that is the adjustment that the Indian cricket team will have to make. So that is one key takeaway that Virender Sehwag said. Now about India's current ICC drought that has happened. Virender Sehwag gave a very interesting anecdote about his playing days from 2008 onwards. Remember, Gary Kirsten took over as the India head coach from 2008 onwards. He said that every match that India played, every situation that India took to for 3 years, they took it as if it was a World Cup knockout match. So India had a lot of good chances to prepare for the World Cup because they took every match as a knockout situation. So because of that, they practiced well and they ensured that come at the World Cup, they had all their plans in place. But remember, 3 years they were playing, and because of that, now they were in a very good position to ensure that pressure did not get to them. Now, this current Indian team will be hoping that they carry on from that same thing. However, they don't have the time. It's just 100 days to go for the World Cup. But they'll be hoping that whatever matches they play, be it the three ODIs against the West Indies, be it the Asia Cup, be it the three ODIs against Australia, they will be hoping that they can adapt to that same kind of pressure in the knockout stages. Because in the ICC World Cups, what has been the major bone of contention? Knockouts. In the knockout games, India have lost in the semi-finals to New Zealand in 2019. Final 2017 they lost to Pakistan. 16 semi-final they lost to West Indies. 15 semi-final they have lost to Australia. Then even if you look at it, 21 they didn't make it. 22 even in the World Cup semi-final against England they lost. So World Cup semi-finals and finals seem to be the bone of contention for the Indian cricket team at this point. Maybe they can take a heed of what Virender said, and then they will say, okay, let us treat every match at this point as a knockout, because at this time India need to ensure that they overcome their 10-year jinx in the ICC events. Now, what did Muthaiya Muralidharan say on this? Muthaiya Muralidharan did not give Sri Lanka that much of a chance, because he felt that because Sri Lanka are playing in the knockout stages of the ICC World Cup qualifiers, it's indeed a sad thing for them. So Muthaiya Muralidharan has not given Sri Lanka that much of a chance, but he said that India versus England or India versus Pakistan, that will be the key in this entire contest. So he's looking forward to India versus England, as he believes that that might set the tone for the World Cup final. So Virender Sehwag's finalists are India versus Australia. India versus England is Muthaiya Muralidharan. So that is the way how we are looking at these two analysts as to how they said. Now, Muthaiya Muralidharan gave a very, very interesting anecdote on the 2011 World Cup. We all know the story as to how MS Dhoni promoted himself up the order, but what was the main reason? Muthaiya Muralidharan elaborated on one very important reason. Yuvraj Singh was often seen struggling against Muralidharan in the past. Now, in order to protect Yuvraj, what did Dhoni do? He promoted himself up the order. And why was that? Because of Chennai Super Kings and the IPL. You will remember that in 2008 onwards until 2011, where did Muthaiya Muralidharan play for? He played for the Chennai Super Kings. And because he bowled to MS Dhoni a lot in the nets, MS Dhoni knew how to tackle him. And because Muralidharan was operating at one end, he felt that it was the right time for himself to promote himself. And that is why Muralidharan stated that because MS Dhoni used to play me, because of the number of times I bowled to him in the nets at Chennai Super Kings, he promoted himself up the order. So it was a very, very interesting anecdote that Muthaiya Muralidharan stated. There was a question asked as to who will be the leading run scorer in this ICC World Cup 2023. Virender Sehwag gives that Virat Kohli, even Muthaiya Muralidharan believes Virat Kohli will be the highest run getter in this entire World Cup. But Virat Kohli, apart from that, Sehwag had two other options. He said Babar Azam and David Warner. Muthaiya Muralidharan stated that it will be either of Joe Root or Babar Azam. So he was pretty confused as to what should it be. So Virender Sehwag and Muthaiya Muralidharan. Virender Sehwag spoke on the importance of handling pressure. The pressure that comes not with the conditions, but the pressure that comes from the media, from the fans, and all the other peer pressure outlets that ensure that India have to win and end a 10-year jinx. Remember, it's been 10 years since India last won an ICC World event. So the pressure is immense on these individuals. So if you look at what is the situation now, the schedule is out. India will now be preparing themselves, and there was a video that ran on the official side which said that Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, which are the best venues that you would prefer? Rohit Sharma said that all venues are special, considering that he's a Mumbai lad. He would obviously name the Wankhede, but Virat Kohli named the Wankhede as the venue where he's looking forward to playing cricket, because it has very good memories. He was part of the 2011 squad, remember, that won the World Cup. He was in the 11th. So Virat Kohli has said that my favorite is the Wankhede Stadium, and Rohit Sharma said all venues are special. Now, people may think that India are traveling to 9 different venues. How is it going to be important? How is it going to help? Virendra Sehwag actually stated that yes, see, India will actually be in an advantage because they will be used to all the conditions and they will ensure that they can put on a great show at that point in time. So, India versus England is the one final that Muralidharan has picked. Although he reckons that there is no chance that Sri Lanka are going to come through, Virendra Sehwag has picked an India-Pakistan thing. He wanted an India-Pakistan thing for the final, but he reckons India-Australia is a much better thing. And talking about India versus Australia, the opening game, Sehwag said that it was great. It was great in a way that the tough game is first because India will then understand where they are in the reckoning. So if you play a tough game in the beginning and against the best opponent that's there currently in the world, it will put India in a much better space. So yet again, for people who are joining us at this point in time, what's the schedule like? We had said on Sports Today earlier that leaked earlier, and we at Sports Today had done a special video on that as well. So you can check that out. So for people who are joining us now, what is the official schedule that has come up? India will be playing in 9 different venues. That's the key takeaway number 1. India versus Pakistan is on. India versus Pakistan will be on October 15th at the Narendra Modi Stadium. Then after that, you are going to see India versus Australia. That's the opening game. England versus New Zealand will be the opening game of the World Cup. Followed by, if you look at it, Delhi has only a game that India has against Afghanistan. Followed by the big one, India, Pakistan and Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad and Lucknow, for example, are hosting very important games. For example, Australia versus South Africa, that is in Lucknow. That's a very, very good game to look forward to. England versus Australia is at Ahmedabad. India, Pakistan is at Ahmedabad along with the final. Now remember, 2 of the semi-finals, India, if it'll be Wankhede and Eden Gardens. Now, there is a special caveat for the semi-final, remember. If India qualifies, they will play their semi-final at the Wankhede Stadium. But here is the catch. If the India are facing Pakistan, then India versus Pakistan will happen at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata. It is not going to happen at Mumbai then. So, India versus Pakistan, if there is a semi-final, it will happen in Kolkata. If Pakistan do not qualify, then India's semi-final will be held at the Wankhede Stadium. Kolkata will host the other semi-final. Then, obviously, it is the Narendra Modi Stadium that is going to host the final as well. Now, as far as the qualifiers are concerned, West Indies, Sri Lanka, Netherlands, or Zimbabwe, who's going to make it? So, this is the major part here. I'm sorry about it. Just give me a minute. So, what has happened here is that India was with the qualifiers in this World Cup. You see that West Indies, Netherlands, Zimbabwe, and Sri Lanka, they are all locked in a 4-way tussle. Now, who will come in? West Indies, if they make it, they will be Q1. Sri Lanka will be Q2. This is the situation. So, India, West Indies or India, Sri Lanka, whoever finishes Q1, Q2, it will all depend on the World Cup qualifiers at this point in time. We'll come to know about it only on July 7th as to what happens. So, this is the World Cup schedule in a nutshell. Virendra Sehwag has said that Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma and David Warner are his top run getters for this World Cup. Muttiah Muralidharan has also picked Virat Kohli to top the charts. As far as the bowling is concerned, Virendra Sehwag has picked Jasprit Bumrah as his leading wicket taker. Then he spoke about mental pressure. Mental pressure is that whatever comes from the media, from the sections of the fans, the demand, the expectations, because India will not be immune to that. They'll not be in a bubble. They'll have to constantly face it. So, this is the situation that is there. India will have to ensure that the outside noise is cut off and that they really will be hoping that they can adapt to the mental pressures much better. So India and all the venues have been allocated. Now the challenge is for all the fans and for all the ticketing agents and for all the travel agencies to ensure that the matches are handled in a big way and that the fans get the best experience. Already you are seeing that the venues have been getting an outlay, the outfields are getting relayed, the stadiums are getting a makeover. You saw some in Ekana, you saw in Bangalore, you're seeing that the stadiums are getting a makeover. They should be ready for the World Cup. Jai Shah has stated, the BCCI secretary stated that once the 2023 ODI World Cup is held in India, all the doubts on the future of the ODI format will be dispelled. That is the way we are looking at it. So This is all it from Mumbai, folks. It's been a great experience doing the World Cup schedule. Remember, we now have only 100 days, exact 100 days to go for the World Cup. Let's see how it happens. So thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live. And don't forget, we are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Thank you.